Hey guys, I'm playing Dear Esther, Landmark Edition game, so that's why I chose it. Music to start off is beautiful. Uh, Judging off the graphics right now, freaking gorgeous. So I'm excited. Let's dive into this, okay? Ooh, director's commentary. I'll do no. Here we go. Again, I know nothing about this game. I just know that
Dear Esther, I sometimes feel as if I've given birth to this island. Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity. An alpha point in my life that refuses all hypothesis. I return each time leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interim.
alright. Um, Again, the music is flippin' gorgeous, and so far the graphics aren't incredibly terrible either, so it's a plus. What is that? Is that a chemical? Let me know in the comments if that's a chemical. I don't know what that is. This looks like a classroom, maybe? Okay, you can zoom in. Okay, so far every button zooms in. Okay. Alright. It just turns the flashlight on automatically, so here we go. There isn't running, so oh, that's gonna be tedious. Okay. Audio's freaking gorgeous too. I feel like I'm off the coast right now.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
Oh, okay. Oh, don't go in water. Don't go in water. Okay. Alright, don't go in water. Got it.
At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs, they are mundane. But down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
Don't think I can go that way. I don't know what the symbol is. Why is it pointing that way? What are you? Wait a minute. Who are you? Guess I'll go up those stairs, huh? So that's a good place to start. Guess I'm gonna head to that light. Not that lighthouse. Light, as it were.
Reading Donnelly by the weak afternoon sunlight. He landed on the south side of the island, followed the path to the bay and climbed the mount. He did not find the caves, and he did not chart the north side. I think this is why his understanding of the island is flawed, incomplete. He stood on the mount and only wondered momentarily how to descend. But then, he didn't have my reasons.
What are your reasons? Why am I here? Where's my boat? Is there anybody else on this island? I mean, obviously there's structures and such, but... where am I?
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Wait, am I infected? I don't have feet.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence. Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached next to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life. I would leave you presents outside your retreat in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I've run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would both be driven mad by the chatter of the sea creatures.
Looks like a volcano. So is there somebody going around painting that? Why did I see two of the same, like, paintings? Maybe the one I said that looked like volcano was this mountain over here? And like how that one little, I don't know, pole was going up? Maybe that was that light right there. So that kind of makes sense, right? Incredibly gorgeous though. Water effects aren't terrible, look at that.
I've become convinced I am not alone here, even though I'm equally sure it is simply a delusion brought upon by circumstance. I do not, for instance, remember where I found the candles, or why I took it upon myself to light such a strange pathway. Perhaps it is only for those who are bound to follow.
Um, sorry. Just trying to figure out what every button does. I'm not gonna fall down this, am I? No, that's where I came by the first time. What's with that book? Why is there just a random book with all these stones? What's with these stones? At first I thought they were like tombs or something, but... What? What? What the frick? What? Is that book gone? What? Where'd that book go? Oh, there it is. Freaks me out, man. Starting to hear things. Again, am I alone on this island? Because even this guy said he wasn't sure if he was alone anymore. Am I being followed, or am I following somebody? Oh, man. Like, there aren't even animals, dude. Guess there's no one going back. Wow. Denelli. What is that? Finished chapter, the lighthouse. I finished the lighthouse chapter.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services, but although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
What exactly are you looking for, huh? Which way do I go? Ah! Okay, is this the island that everybody just dumps their trash at? That's not cool, man. If you go to a beach... Okay, it's a shipwreck, but if you go to a beach... Don't litter, man, come on. Let alone, like, just putting trash everywhere. But, you know, it goes in the ocean. Gosh, this music's gorgeous. So, I have a shipwreck, but no bodies? Is that how I got here? Oh.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Am I supposed to be taking note of these things? Like, I don't know what those are. Why did this ship crash? How did it end up perfectly in this little cove? How come there's nobody around from the ship? How long has this ship been here? How long have I been here? Where am I? Hey, it's that light tower I wanted to go to. See you later. Man, you know
An
there's
imagined answer phone message. The tires are flat, the wheel spins loosely, and the brake fluid has run like ink over this map, staining the landmarks and rendering the coastline mute, compromised. Where you saw galaxies, I saw only bruises cut into the cliff by my lack of sobriety.
What? Am I supposed to go over there? I think I'm supposed to go over there. Anyways, I was gonna say that you know that white noise, like a windy day or something. I don't know. White noise. That's what I'm. That's what I'm getting right now. Like the sounds in this game are super realistic. I could listen to this and fall asleep, you know.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
What? What? Did she get hit by a car? Or was she in a car accident? Oh, I'm going down there. Was he the one driving the car?
When I first looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
Oh, okay.
Come back.
Okay, don't jump. Stay sec and I'm in. Died from falling off a cliff once. Cover for urns. 5,000 steps. I didn't even know there was urns in this game, man. I'm just walking. I didn't even know you could like uncover stuff. Oh man. Did I miss something in the first one?
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
Okay, what the frick is this? What do you need bloody scissors for? I get this looks like a stall, but like a horse stall, but are you really working on animals?
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Wow.
Three cormorants seen at dusk. They did not land. This house built of stone, built by a long-dead shepherd. Contents: my camp bed, a stove, a table, chairs, my clothes, my books. The caves that score out the belly of this island, leaving it famished. My limbs and belly famished. This skin, these organs, this failing eyesight. When the battery runs out in my torch, I will descend into the caves and follow only the phosphorescence home.
It's a bird. Wow. So you're the one staying in this house then? Are you the one painting on everything? Wow.
Jacobson's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry I'm not saying much. I'm really starting to get immersed into this story that's going on right now. Also, this little island, the world, the sounds, the music.
They found Jacobson in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot, but he is proving an unreliable witness.
Was it this cave they dragged them to? Oh boy.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Whoa. Why did the music get all creepy right there? Also, you're walking with a broken femur? Oh. Yep, that's dark. That's very dark. Hey, it's your suitcase. Why'd you throw your suitcase down here? Okay. Alright, we'll just leave it. That's fine. Who's lighting candles? Who else is on this island, man? It can't just be me. It's a tough candle. Oh, this is pretty. Terrifying. Oh, okay, I just fell. Okay. Jacobson. Finish the chapter. Oh, is this the cliff that I fell down? Is that...
Donnelly did not pass through the caves. From here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
Okay, so I fell down this tunnel, yet there's candles lit How did I fall down here, but there's candles lit? And how am I walking around on that lake that's just perfectly fine? And why am I going into this water? It's beautiful. It is really pretty though. Except for that candle, it's freaking me out. This is pretty though. Look for some geodes. Maybe try to find some, oh, tight spaces. Tight spaces, okay. Gosh, the music's beautiful, man. Golly. Okay.
I first saw him sat by the side of the road. I was waiting for you to be cut out of the wreckage. The car looked like it had been dropped from a great height. The guts of the engine spilled over the tarmac, like water underground.
So she did die in a car crash. That this character was driving, huh? Tight spaces. Oh my gosh, dude, look at that! Oh, that's gorgeous, man! Wow! I'll have to jump again. Oh, wow! Amazing. Wow. Oh, that's bright. Why are you so bright? What makes you really bright right there? Wait, what? Did I just jump from here? Yeah, I jumped from right there, right? Wow. Wow. Who's lighting you? Where are you coming from? Oh, tight spaces. What is glowing mushrooms?
If the caves are my guts, this must be the place where the stones are first formed. The bacteria phosphoresce and rise, singing through the tunnels. Everything here is bound by the rise and fall, like a tide. Perhaps the whole island is actually underwater.
Wow. What is... I move with the current, that's cool. Pew! Wow. Look at the water effects, man. Games these days don't even have this good enough water effects. Oh. That's supposed to go there? Looks like I'm in a big old geode. Wow. Wow. I'm gonna screenshot that.
I will hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
I can go in the ocean, but I could go in these things? Okay. Oh. I'm all turned around. Oh. Gerald? Behold Damascus versus tamales. Oh, this music. Oh no. Behold Damascus. Something paycheck. I don't know what that says. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Screenshot. Damascus. Oh no. Damascus. Oh, tight spaces. Away from being a city. Ah. And it... I don't know what that says. What are these little tentacles? This game was pretty. Now it's just freaking me out, man. Okay, I'm swimming. This is a huge cave, by the way. Woo! Is that chapter 3? Oh. Whoa. I'm on a highway. Guess I'll go towards that light over there, because that looks scary. Oh, hey! It's a hospital bed? No? It's got coins on it? What are you? Royal Porsche. I'll stay on this side. Oh man. don't know if I'm going the right way. Okay, I think I am. That's where I jumped from. I'm going home. Can we get out from being underground, please? Esther. This trophy is for finishing the chapter Caves. So there should be one more chapter. Should be the last chapter. Start. Why are there candles? Who else? Where did I come from? There? Why are there candles everywhere, man? Oh, okay. Hello? Hello?
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
Oh! Oh! Hey, I made it.
Half of it fell out of my coat and vanished into the car's upholstery. But the rest I carefully stowed away in a box I kept in a drawer by the side of my bed. It was never intended as a meaningful act, but over the years it became a kind of talisman. I'd sit still, quite still for hours, just holding the diminishing powder in my palm and noting its smoothness. In time, we will all be worn down into granules, washed into the sea and dispersed.
It fell into out of the what? Oh, dude.
Paul by the roadside, by the exit for Damascus, all ticking and cooled, all feathers and remorse, all of these signals routed like traffic through the circuit diagrams of our guts, those badly ridden boats torn bottomless in the swells, washing us forever ashore.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they resuscitated him by hitting him in the chest with stones gathered by the roadside. He was lifeless for 21 minutes, certainly long enough for the oxygen levels in his brain to have decreased and caused hallucinations and delusions of transcendence. I'm running out of painkillers, and the moon has become almost unbearably bright.
Oh. It's a person. That's a person over there. Dude, why is there a person just... Okay. Alright, it's fine. It's probably my friend. Can I not go up there?
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Dude, I'm not crazy. There was a guy over here. And he was preceding on his journey. There was a dude, man. And was coming near to Damascus. And he was... Can you guys please, with the choir, shh? I'm trying to read. And...
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
I think that says was. And he was, but it looks like it says my name. Looks like a K-I-A-S. That, and he was this with our what? Our story, our site. I don't know what that says.
The stones in my stomach will weigh me down and ensure my descent is true and straight. I will break through the fog of these godforsaken pills and achieve clarity. All my functions are clogged, all my veins are choked. If my leg doesn't rot off before I reach the summit, it will be a miracle. There are 21 connections in the circuit diagram of the anti-lock brakes. There are 21 species of gull inhabiting these islands. It is 21 miles between the Sandford Junction and the turn-off for home. All these things cannot, will not be a coincidence. blind with panic, deaf with the roar of the caged traffic, heart stopped on the road to Damascus. Paul sat at the roadside, hunched up like a gull, like a bloody gull, as useless and as doomed as a syphilitic cartographer, a dying goatherd, an infected leg, a kidney stone, blocking the traffic bound for Sanford and Exeter. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. All his roads and his tunnels and his paths led inevitably to this moment of impact. This is not a recorded natural condition. He should not be sat there with his chemicals and his circuit diagrams. He should not be sat there at all.
Sorry, I gotta walk 5,000 steps, okay. I came into Damascus. Am I Paul?
I have run out of places to climb. I will abandon this body and take to the air.
Hold on. Trigger all voiceover points. Okay.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We've always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Wow. Nigel, well done, sir. Adam, Stewart, Furcall, Martin, great job, guys. Chinese room are Richard Court, Andrew Croshaw, Jessica Curry, who called? Alex, Martin, Steve, Dan, Gwen, Stephanie, Catherine, Stewart. Well done, everybody. You left me speechless. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. I hope he found Esther. Wow. That was the last two chapters. I couldn't keep talking because I had nothing else to say because I was so drawn into what the story was going on based on a 2007 mod. Wow, what the story was going on, what the just the graphics, the story, the the world that this game made drew me in, and I was lost for words. That was a beautiful game, and it was not the turn I was expecting it to take, or to be about what I was expecting it to be about. Because I came into this game not knowing what was going to happen. But well done, guys. It was a beautiful game, beautiful music, like I've said all the whole time. Nigel, you did a great job with your voiceover. Chinese Room, that was excellent. The graphics were excellent. The water was perfect. It was just a great visual novel, and I'm glad I got to be a part of this. Alright, guys. This was Dear Esther, and nothing else needs to be said because that's what it was. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did, and yeah. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Adios.